We've all seen a movie where there was a pretty massive twist and found ourselves going, alright, they got us there. The interesting thing about some of those twists is that they're hinted at earlier in the movie. Directors and writers love to give little Easter eggs that would totally give away the plot if we were paying attention the way we should have been. The best Easter eggs of all include the ones where we end up slapping ourselves in the forehead with our palms once the big reveal is made, because we realize we should have seen it coming from a mile away. Well, the movies on today's list here certainly make up that population. Welcome back to PatrolClip, patrons, and today we're going to cover the top 10 plot twist clues you probably missed. Before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all things PatrolClip. And if you knew about any of these clues, or if you have any others you'd like to share, make sure you drop them in the comments below. And yes, there will be spoilers, so you have been warned. Alright, here we go! Number 10. Interstellar. Interstellar's physics-defying, brain-bending ending might have turned off some audiences, but even if the ending was confusing, it was a shocking twist. After a former astronaut and his daughter are drawn to a secret NASA base by a mysterious ghost, he winds up saving mankind using a black hole and some gravity to become the ghost that sent him on the mission in the first place. It was a truly impossible time loop to predict, until you remember the very first line of the dialogue in the entire movie, when Murph tells her father, "I thought you were the ghost." Number 9. The Matrix Reloaded. Becoming the One is a short victory since The Matrix Reloaded delivered its own twist ending showing nothing was what it seemed. When Neo finally finished his quest and met the Architect, he learned he wasn't the savior of mankind, just one in a long line of ones, all doomed to repeat the same cycle of the man versus machine war. It sent fans reeling, but probably shouldn't have since it was explicitly stated by the Merovingian a full 45 minutes earlier in the movie, with the line, "Your predecessors had much more respect." The storm of bullets that immediately followed made it hard to grasp what was just revealed, but even Neo didn't catch it, so don't feel bad. Number 8. Star Trek Into Darkness. Fans of classic Star Trek can still debate the secrecy surrounding the updated version of Khan from Star Trek Into Darkness, but the most staggering reveal for casual audiences was the USS Vengeance, a massive attack ship that made the Enterprise look like a toy. But the secret was actually spoiled in the first act. Admiral Marcus may have kept the ship's construction under wraps, but the long line of spaceship models in his office includes almost every iconic ship from the Trek TV show and films, ending with the Vengeance, which clearly is the villain's favorite, going by his loving stare. Can you even call it a reveal when it's shoved right in the audience's face? Come on! Number 7. Inception. There's no shortage of theories surrounding Inception, but forget the question of whether or not Cobb's top stopped spinning in the final shot. What if the entire movie was one of his dreams? For starters, Cobb, the guy played by Leo DiCaprio, explains that people never recall how a dream started, you simply begin in the middle. Well, the movie begins that exact same way, beginning at the end, then skipping back to another heist. We later learn a dreaming mind clings to certain numbers, like the train that took Cobb and his wife out of limbo marked 3502, the team's taxi numbered 2053, and Cobb's wife's hotel suicide even committed in room 3502. To top it off, Saito, played by Ken Watanabe, dreams of living in a house built on a cliff. The dream should only be his, but when Cobb is reunited with his children, they let him know that they're also building a house on a cliff. Number 6. Transformers: Dark of the Moon. When Optimus Prime and his Autobots discover that a fellow Transformer crash-landed on the moon in the 1960s, they eventually learn that the stranded Autobot is Sentinel Prime, the leader of the aliens whom Optimus replaced. This hero is voiced by actor Leonard Nimoy, best known as Mr. Spock from the original Star Trek. The movie's twist comes when Sentinel betrays the Autobots, siding with the Decepticons to bring their home planet, Cybertron, to Earth, destroying humanity in the process. Seeing Spock turn pure evil and try to take over the world only got him and Megatron killed. But if viewers wanted to save themselves some time, they could have just paid close attention to Wheelie's remarks when watching an old Trek episode in the first few minutes. This is the one where Spock goes nuts. Ha! Well, I guess he won't be living long and prospering after all. Hey there, viewers, are you still on board? Well, I hope so, because we still got more great content to cover. Make sure that when you subscribe today, you leave an email so that you can receive a free PDF on how to become a successful social media influencer. And here we go with our last 5. Number 5, Back to the Future. The first Back to the Future ends with a bit of a twist. It reveals that the life Marty McFly leaves behind in 1985 is not the same one he returns to. His actions in the past have caused his entire family history to change for the better. But you don't have to wait until the final sequences for that surprise. When Marty rushes to the parking lot at Twin Pines Mall to save Doc before he's killed, it's revealed to have changed its name to Lone Pine. The name changed as a result from running over one of Mr. Peabody's prized pines when Marty first arrives in 1955. It's the first clue that he altered the timeline, instead of completely preserving it. Well, it's alright, Marty, nobody's perfect. Number 4, Reservoir Dogs. After a jewel heist goes horribly wrong, Quentin Tarantino's cast of thieves are convinced that there's a rat in their midst, with the survivors left to find out which one of their team may be working with the police. A collection of bottles hints that Mr. Orange, played by Tim Roth, isn't on the same side as Mr. White, played by Harvey Keitel, or Pink, played by Steve Buscemi, but the undercover LAPD officer actually lets his secret slip in the very first scene. First, he changes his mind to fit in with his fellow thief. Then, when the group is asked who didn't tip for their breakfast, Orange immediately squeals, showing he doesn't subscribe to the same code as his partners. If they'd only caught it, the movie's ending might have been a lot less messy, although not as fun. Number 3, Fight Club. When the narrator learns that he and Tyler Durden are actually the same person, it blows his mind. But eagle-eyed viewers weren't caught completely by surprise. In the film's first act, the narrator begins to see quick glimpses of Tyler as he battles his insomnia. It's the first suggestion he's simply a figment of his imagination begging to be unleashed. If that wasn't enough, Tyler later calls the narrator on a payphone that doesn't accept incoming calls. Saving the big twist from attentive viewers was obviously not a priority for director David Fincher. He is Jack's naughty little spoiler. Number 2, The Sixth Sense. At the end of The Sixth Sense, audiences famously find out that Dr. Malcolm Crowe, played by Bruce Willis, is actually a ghost, and learn that the story was just as much about the young Cole, played by Haley Joel Osment, helping Crowe deal with his new condition, as it was about Crowe aiding Cole master his gifts. It's one of the most mind-blowing twists in cinematic history that caught many viewers off guard, making them immediately want to see the movie again. A famous example is when Crowe arrives late to an anniversary dinner and his wife doesn't even acknowledge his presence before leaving the table. And finally, number 1, Avatar. James Cameron's 3D epic Avatar is about as science fiction and fantasy as blockbusters can get, but the characters can't seem to help offering clues about what lies in their future. When Dr. Grace Augustine, played by Sigourney Weaver, explains that outsiders aren't allowed to get close to the planet's Tree of Souls, she claims that she would die to get samples. She tempts fate again when challenging Colonel Quaritch, played by Stephen Lang, to shoot her. The wish comes true not long after, leaving her mortally wounded. When she's taken to the tree for a last-ditch effort to save her life, she and the audience realize she got her wish after all, with her even observing that I should have taken samples. Well guys, those are the coolest clues, hints, or teases that we could find in our favorite films. But which ones did we miss? Be sure you tell us in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please give us a click and ring that notification bell for future videos from PatrolClip. And until next time!